Hey YouTube. So customer asked me to pick up this mower for him because it was surging. He's not really a customer, he's a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. We have a lot of things in common. And I found this mower for him last year. I delivered it to him after I cleaned it up and made sure it was all fine. And he said when he used it just this past week, it was hunting. So let's start it up and see if we can find out if we can duplicate that problem. Yes, we can. All right, we got this up on the pender lift. Let's go ahead and get started. I turn off the fuel. Let's pull out the spark plug. And we'll get going. Okay, so if you haven't seen these before, these are the stud bolts that go into the breather housing holding the carburetor on and all of the other accessories that make the intake. What I've done is I had an old mower with a Honda engine on it, and I took the bolt ends and I ground them down, so I just have two studs that I can put in and then slide everything off as one piece at a time, so it doesn't have to when it goes back into the reassembly of the carburetor, you're not having to smush everything together, then try to get the stud bolts through, and then try to get it on. It's a real hassle. I'll show you here in a second. Back of this Honda breather is the PCV pressure control release hose. Connects right there onto the back of the breather housing. Very important part. You never want to leave that off for any length of time. Next thing I'm going to do is pinch off my fuel lines before taking that off. A good pair of hemostats are very, very desirable. Fuel's off, fuel hose is off. Tighten these studs up a little bit more. Z-bend, and then your spring, your governor spring. So now what you can see here is all of this stuff is still in place. The studs are holding all that extra material for the choke plate and all of that in place for you at this time. You're gonna change over to move the camera and get set up to redo the carb. Okay, went ahead and cleaned up the carb off camera. We are gonna go ahead and start disassembly and spraying with carb spray. with all Honda carbs, 10mm on the bottom. Already drained most of the fuel out of this. This was fresh fuel when it was delivered 3 weeks ago. So it should be pretty clean, all things considered. There we go. Yeah, there's no water in that bowl whatsoever. Crystal clear. That is a tiny little needle, don't you think? You never want to lose that. I'm working on getting the main jet. Yep. Pretty tedious, pretty boring. Not much to say. There we go. That was sweet. Came out with the emulsion tube also. Hallelujah, we're winning. Next thing is the pilot jet. Now the pilot jet screw is right here, and it basically drills down and then comes in through there. It helps to deal with fuel mixture and air mixture and so on and so forth. It's actually pretty valuable, and 9 times out of 10 it is the true reason why the hunting happens, is this is clogged. Now that's got a little brass jet in there that I cannot get into, so we're going to clean it with a little carb spray. It's shooting down where it needs to go. Try not to get this in your face and your eyes. It doesn't tickle. Torch tips. Torch tips are an absolute must-have. You usually find them really inexpensively on Amazon. Sometimes when I first started with Amazon, buying parts from them, buying tools from them, if I had to buy a carb through Amazon, they used to come with torch tips with the carburetor kit. They don't any longer. I haven't seen them anywhere. So torch tips is what you're looking for. Basically, you're going to go through every single hole here, run it through, make sure there's absolutely no debris left. Then we're going to wash it off with some carb spray. This is your main jet. Perfect. Everything is shooting through the way it's supposed to. All right, we're gonna call that done. It doesn't take much to fix these carbs. Obviously this carb is in pretty decent shape. I mean, it's for all things considered, it's not in bad shape at all. So, I mean, this was pretty darn easy to to get knocked out. The issue is the really, really filthy carbs. Are you going to be a mechanic and clean them, or are you going to be a part swapper and just order something off Amazon and pray tell that it fits when it comes in and all that gobbledygook? I prefer to be the mechanic, work with what I've got, and only if I can't get what I've got working, then I resort to the good old Amazonians. There we go. Okay. Pilot jet screw. Done. Okay, set you there, set you there. I'm gonna put the needle back in place on the float and then bring the carburetor to the float instead of bringing the float to the carburetor. Okay, bowl, nut, get it started well. I mean, I finish off with the drill. A lot of people don't, but if you don't go crazy with it, I don't see that it's a problem. That carb is clean. Okay. Reassembly is just as easy as disassembly. Z-bend first. I think I got that in the wrong hole. No, I don't. I got it in the right hole. Return spring. Reseat on the studs. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see me actually lining up and layering this like a lasagna or a pizza or a puzzle, layering things back into place on these studs, allowing the reconstruction of stuff to go very smooth. And that's what these two studs really make life easy on. So the next thing is to find out if, yeah, right there is where it goes. Next is this plate. Next is, go ahead and release the fuel. Go over here. Put my PCV valve tube back on. I apologize if you can't hear me. I am talking throughout, but I have not yet purchased a wireless microphone. It's on my wish list. If you go to the About page in YouTube, less than $50. And if you feel so inclined to bless me with a wireless microphone, I would truly appreciate it. Now, when it comes to removing these studs, you do one at a time. We kind of got it tight. Take one out. Put the original back in. Don't tighten it up all the way or you're going to have problems getting the other stud out and the second stud in. once again, do not go crazy. No need for it. All right. Let's go ahead and get it off the Pender lift, move it back outside, and see if she runs. All right, the time has come.